Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology, and I thank you for coming back. And we are going through just heartbreaking times, heartbreaking times. So I have all the charts here for this next week. We're going to be going from Sunday, May 29th through Saturday, June 4th, with an awful lot of energy in Aries and Venus newly into Taurus. So, but anyway, bear with me as I go through these charts. There's just so much information here, and I'll try to get through it as quickly as I can, but as simply as well. Meanwhile, sending you lots of love. So hold on, and I'll switch to my overhead camera here, and I'll show you these charts. Okay, so starting off for Sunday, it's interesting that the sun is kind of here all by himself with no aspects, early this morning anyway. Of course, that'll change later on in the day, but waking up, it may be a morning of free thinking, with Gemini. It does have to do with the things that are on our mind, the things that we need to get done, and gathering facts before we move towards what we want to get done. It's like, okay, what do I have to deal with today? That type of thing. Or how do I get everything I need together so that I can, because Gemini is so much about gathering. And what do I need in order to, get going for the day? So being that there's no aspects to it, it's kind of free. It's kind of out there, in a way that's not encumbered in any way, at least for the morning. So that's a nice way to start your Sunday. But the other things that are really attracting my attention and I have to give voice to is this stellium in Taurus here, and then this stellium in Aries. And we have, 4 conjunctions here going on, even, including Neptune. Let's see, where's my chopstick? Including Neptune here. And, we're still, so what's happening? So we're still under Mercury retrograde, you can see right here. And it's moved back into 26 degrees Taurus, from Gemini. And it's conjunct the moon. And this is really important because with this stellium here, we have all this opposition here to the south node. So this is an exact opposition, but, I can't really not connect the other two. But here's well, Uranus, of course, is in there. Even though there's only 3 lines, it's just the way the program works. It doesn't add in that opposition to the nodes like it should, even though, I have things set a certain way, but it doesn't seem to work out always. But anywho, with Moon conjunct Mercury in Taurus, we are feeling deeply and thinking about our safety, food safety, human rights, actual physical safety, and with all the issues of, actually should have finished that line through here, with all the issues that are up, that have been for a long time within the USA, so this won't apply to you in Canada or anywhere else, but I'm sure you can put us in your prayers. My goodness, right? I mean, human rights and our safety is the priority now, and that's because the North Node is in Taurus. And we've been through the pandemic. We're still going through it. There's a little bit of a monkeypox thing going on, which I think I have to use tarot or something else to see if it's really a big danger, because there are vaccines against it already. So anyway, and there have been for quite some time. But anyway, with this stellium here in Taurus, and even though Venus is, 16, well, actually about 15 degrees apart now from Uranus, it's still coming in there because she doesn't she moves pretty quickly. You know, she's about 2 months or so for one sign, like about 3 weeks to 2 months per sign, depending on, you know, a retrogradation process or not. And of course, I think there will be one. But anyhow, Venus is all about what we will unite for and, you know, get up against and work for. It helps us to compare things. It helps us to decide what matters most to us. And because, you know, she's moving, so we could say this is mother, this is family, this is food, this is protection, this is everything that matters to us. It's also money. So here we are in this question as to what matters most to us, and will we elect representatives or get rid of representatives who are not standing up for us? And that's the true test. Remember, we've got that T-square going on here with Saturn. That's the true test. It's Saturn squaring the nodes, right? So, this straight on at the apex point, we have the government, we have the people, we have laws for the people. And, you know, I mean, my goodness, it's like if we're not safe, if our babies aren't safe, if our children aren't safe, you know, if our babies aren't safe with food that, you know, like that infant formula baloney that happened with Abbott Laboratories, or actually Abbott Nutrition or Nutrients or whatever, that should have never happened. And the FDA, that should have never happened. FDA is here with Saturn in Aquarius. The food, all of the food and safety issues are in this stellium here in Taurus. And we're looking at the past going, you know, we've been through this kind of stuff before. And it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be that way. So even though, you know, Biden has thrown some money at the FDA, we'll see what happens, because it just shouldn't have happened. And children died. There were babies that died because of that. So, but if women don't have reproductive rights, that would be the North Node in Taurus, attached to the moon here. This is a major, major connection all day about where are we going, what do we really want, what will we fight for. We're gathering more information. Our hearts are breaking because of all the mass shootings that have taken out children and teachers. And with, you know, these military-style rifles that just no one can stand a chance against. The police can't protect themselves against something like that. So what do we have to do? Have, I don't know, until these laws get changed, do we need to have like the National Guard around all of our schools? You know, I mean, maybe that's something Biden could do? I don't know. But something needs to be done. Otherwise, we won't survive as a species. If we don't have, if women don't have reproductive rights, then we won't have access to safe health care. And hopefully these mass shootings are creating more and more activists against the military rifles that are being marketed and sold to the public. And we need all these young voters, male and female, to fight against this and to protect Roe v. Wade. And the GOP needs to learn its lessons. And the swamp creatures that Trump supported and installed, they need to go hide under a rock, if you want my opinion on that. So, anyway, Mercury still retrograde will be until the 2nd of June, which is coming up right around the corner, you know, last day here. But it's not going to be out of the, towards the end of the week, it'll be out of the, well, it won't be retrograde anymore, but it won't be out of the shadow until the 18th or 19th, depending on your time zone. And we have the new moon in Gemini coming in tomorrow, so we'll talk about that in a moment. But this is, so Pluto squaring Venus is the test of power. Will we stand up and fight? You know, Venus right here. Will we make those comparable decisions that need to be made in order to protect our family and stand up against so-called authority? And those are our choices. Those are our decisions. And then with Pluto sextile Neptune, do we want to be in victim mentality? There's a connection here. We have the opportunity to decide. Do we want to be in victim mentality and act like we don't have any power over any of this? It's another thing to march for. It's another thing to protest against. It's a really, really important thing to know about these governors. Like Governor Abbott just lied his ass off. They're making statements that are ludicrous when you think about it. And that sheriff in Uvalde, that guy there's something wrong with him. There is definitely something mentally wrong with that guy. He just keeps his hat on all the time, so you can't really see his eyes, you can't really see his face, and then he's just trying to defend his department rather than, I don't know. He could have handled it so much more differently. So, and then we have someone like Beto O'Rourke, who is here. These two sextiles to Mercury and the Moon. And we have to bring in all of this because it's all, even though it's just a tight orb here, it's all conjunct, because this one touches this one and this one touches this one. And even though these two are 10 degrees apart, well, I take a 12-degree orb when it comes to conjunction. So there. So this is Beto O'Rourke waking up, walking in, to that meeting, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it, with Governor Abbott. Hold on, I need Kleenex here. And saying something, politely and quietly. He wasn't screaming and yelling. He didn't walk in with a bullhorn. He didn't, he didn't cuss. He didn't do anything. And what did they do? They called him names and ran him out. They made him leave. So this is Beto O'Rourke trying to wake up everyone. And then, and meanwhile, Abbott and all these other guys, they have plans to go to the NRA convention this weekend. So, yeah. Let's see if he still goes. But anyhow, so Beto comes in, shows us the way we need to go, has always been walking the way we need to go. And we have Chris Murphy, we have we have Sheldon Whitehouse, we have many other representatives, whether they're House or Senate, standing up for us and saying, how do we protect our children, talking about protection. Mercury is a messenger. Taurus helps us survive. Right? Aries is, we're here. Taurus is like, we got to survive. We have to earn money. We have to take care of our children. We have to do all these things, right? Basically, survival. So we're in this dynamic between, reminding us with the Scorpio South Node that if we don't make the changes, we're just going to have to continue to go down that same experience, have that same experience, go down that same path. And it's also on another level too. So here we have, violence, and please don't take this the wrong way if you're a Scorpio, because Scorpio is also transformation and depth and trust. But it can also be, regeneration, the Scorpio rising out of, the phoenix, the Scorpio phoenix rising out of the ashes. But it's also sometimes crisis. And other times it's secrets. So we're having secrets come out about these people who have taken NRA money. I put a link to an article from the Brady, I think it's the Brady Project or Brady.org. I can't remember exactly the name of it. In my community section. So you can go there, and there's a list of all the representatives all the politicians who've been paid from the NRA, or been donated their funds or their campaigns received funds from the NRA, and it shows how much. And surprisingly, like Mitt Romney had 13 million in there. And I thank you to one of my viewers who put that comment in there for me to look and go, what? Oh, hold on, let me go look about that. And then I found the Brady org. So, wow. So here we are with secrets. So sex and money, because Scorpio's tied to both, and so is Taurus. So sex and money scandals. And then what happens this morning? Or at least, yeah. So I'm doing this on Thursday. I always do Thursdays early so that my members have this. And then I release it on Saturday morning for everyone else. But anyway, today, Kevin Spacey was charged with 4 counts of sexual assault by British prosecutors. So, whoa. And there's also everything coming out about churches, church abuse, sex assault, sex scandals, sex problems with churches. It was like this big Baptist church. So goodness. But most importantly, like I said, this T square to Saturn is, and it's in effect until November 16th, to both of the nodes, is asking us to demand and pass new laws. Saturn is about laws, Aquarius is about humanity, and we can't close our hearts off and let it go because our hearts are breaking. And we need new laws from Congress and Biden. We need Biden to do everything he can. He can't make Congress pass anything, but there might be something that he can do. So we'll look and wait and see if he and Harris can figure out something, or what they can figure out. But this tension field here, it's holding us accountable to vote and express our strength and teach the politicians what our real values are. That's what this Taurus stellium is all about. So let me turn the page, and I'll give some power to this stellium going on here too. Let's look at the Gemini new moon. So it's May 30th at 4:30 in the morning Pacific, so 7:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's at 9 degrees Gemini. And again, there aren't any aspects to it. So it's free. So it's this, so the moon, remember the moon is about our moods and our feelings. We're wanting all the facts. We're wanting to protect. The moon is protective. So we're wanting to protect, to have good information, valid information, and not the lies. We're tired of the lies. And with this new moon here, we have, wherever this lands in your chart, so wherever 9 degrees Gemini is in your chart, and like I said, to any of my members at the family level, if you don't have your chart, just email me your birth data. As long as you have your exact birth time, I'll create a chart for you and email it right back, okay? So just know that, that's there. And then you can see, you can always know which house any of these planets are in your chart. So you just look for where 9 degrees Gemini is, and that's the area of your life that you'll be able to put your intentions into. Well, so new moons are always like, no matter where they land, no matter what degree, what sign, they're always about, it's a monthly opportunity to set your intentions. And whatever house, whatever area of life, the house would be a certain area of life. And I can, when I do your chart, I can let you know what that is. Just put the little note in there and say, hey, what house is it for me? What house, what does that mean? And if you're at my lessons level, then you have all those, if you're a member at the lessons level, you have all those videos and you can just, go look real quick. But if you're at the family level, you don't have access to the lessons. So I can give you little tidbits here and there as I have time. But anyway, so you can set your intentions with Gemini. It can help you to get really, really clear. And you're going to be learning something. So let's say it is here in your third house. I have it set at 0 degrees Aries because that's what I have to do, because I don't know where you guys are. So the ascendant has to be at 0 degrees Aries. So anyway, let's say it is here in your third house. Well, Gemini rules the third house. Mercury rules the third house. And it would have to do with how you communicate, how you receive messages and information. It would have to do with gathering information, gathering facts, articulating facts, sharing information. And let's pretend it's up here in your 9th house. That might be publishing. It might be going to a court of any type of a court and sharing your information. It might be making travel plans with the 9th house. It's travel plans, but the 9th house primarily is about your belief system. So you might be thinking about, well, wait, what do I really believe, and how does that affect my life? Because of course your belief system is what emanates outwardly from your insides, and the universe will mirror back to you what you truly believe. So that's where we're really powerful, in that we can make those adjustments. So Gemini can help you do that. So let's see. So no aspects to the moon Monday morning, and especially at that new moon. And sometimes too, if you're doing really good work with a new moon intention, you can have the fulfillment or the manifestation of what you're putting out there or putting in there by the full moon, 2 weeks later. So we'll see. Okay, so then let's see. The moon's away from Uranus. So the shock is over, but we're gathering the facts and we're making new intentions. I'm thinking that we're going to be doubling down on these politicians, and we're going to be making our voices heard, because that's what Gemini Mercury is all about. All right? Figure out what your message is and call your representative. Email your representative. Do as many things as you can to fight this injustice that's happening. And so we still have the same aspects with Mercury to Neptune here and back up here to Pluto. We're not wanting, we have an opportunity here to put our power in the right place, put our power into a place that's a lot more compassionate. And we're going to be talking about this for quite some time. This mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas is just unbelievably painful. And you can see Venus is still square to Pluto. So the only thing major here with the moon is the new moon for the morning and throughout the day. And so let me talk a little bit about this stellium here in Aries. You can notice how Jupiter and Mars. So first of all, Aries is all about doing something new, moving forward. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but you're still out there, right? It's about trying to win something. It's about blazing a new trail. It's about moving forward. It's about asserting yourself and your unique individuality too. So there's going to be there's a lot of new energy. I mean, we can see, it's still, I think it must have been last week that Mars was on the other side of Jupiter. And this, the mass shooting happened while Neptune was still in Pisces, but I think, Mars was conjunct Neptune at that 29th degree when it happened, on Tuesday. And then by later, was it later Tuesday? I'd have to look, but later Tuesday or whatever, it moved into, 0 degrees Aries. And I'm talking about Mars right here. And you can see that here by Monday, it's already at 4 degrees. Mars moves quickly, right? So Mars crossing over Jupiter has blown things up. And I'm thinking that the shooter was probably in his victim mentality. And with Mars approaching Jupiter, he just couldn't control himself. It's just unbelievably sad. I guess the guy was bullied and made fun of because of his speech impediment or something, and it was just filled with hatred and just went out into the world like that. So anyway, for us, this can be a wonderful transit to help us initiate something new, get something new going in our lives. Jupiter is all about healing. This can be finding a new creative self-expression and then having the energy to actually do it. Just be careful. There's no aspects to it today. So, it's not like you have to worry about like an opposition or something going on or any squares. But still be careful. Use your intuition. Jupiter definitely rules intuition, and Aries rules our instinctive sense, like our spidey sense, like your instincts, right? So if you're feeling that it's not a good time to go do something, don't. Trust your intuition when you're deciding like where to go, because Mars in Aries wants to go and get things done, and Jupiter is going to expand that. So, like I said, be careful. Mars will be about our motivations, and Aries will be about to get ahead and trailblaze and get something, going. And Jupiter is going to expand that, right? But it can also help us to heal. It can also help us to make plans for travel, for what we want to expand into. Jupiter is also good for inspiring us in a new direction. In Aries, it would be definitely a new direction. And so this is good for us after all of this time kind of slogging along in Pisces, although Pisces was great for art and spirituality, right? And it still is. It's still trying to the south node and still sextiling the north node, and Mercury's backing in close to it. So, but it won't go any further, actually. But still, 4 degrees. So, okay, so let's look at Tuesday. So with Tuesday, the only thing that's different here, all the other aspects are the same. We just have that the moon has clocked forward a little bit by 4 a.m., and we now have an inconjunct. So remember, an inconjunct requires an adjustment, and it's from the past, and then to move forward with the moon. Again, remember the moon's about our moods. So our feelings when it's in the pure state, our emotional reactions when it's not. But our emotional reactions only come from the past, or always come from the past. So if there's a problem from the past, if you're waking up in the morning after a bad dream and it had to do with wanting to get back at somebody, or some revenge is coming up within, then oh, wait, well, those are real feelings. Honor them, but just don't act on them, and I'm sure that you wouldn't. And then we have this trine up here to Saturn, and Saturn in Aquarius is helping us, besides the square to the nodes that we're all going through, it's helping us to master something. And in Aquarius, it's about the ability to be free. Aquarius wants to be free. It wants to invent something new. It's friendly. It brings in, the ability to attract new friendships and like-minded people, your soul tribe or your spirit tribe. And it can help you make new rules for your own life. But you just want to be careful that you're not cut off from your heart. And with the moon trining here for the day, I'm thinking that you won't be. In fact, your heart may be giving you new information that can help you heal something from the past. And then notice that we have a square to Neptune, and this is why I was thinking that it could be possibly something that comes up from a dream that could be a little troubling. So, it's okay. Dreams help. Dreams are often there for clearing, to help you remember something from the past that needs to be cleared out. And they're often there, and especially we have that trine, to Neptune from the South Node. So we're all going through this transit of being able to heal the past, right? Through dream time, through meditation, through compassion, through letting go of what no longer serves us. But then we're also having to fight and hold on and work, towards these new rules that we need for humanity. But for you in your own personal life, which I don't know how we separate any of that, because we're all, connected, there can be a challenge to letting go of, well, it's not a challenge to let go of it. I think that the guidance here is to let go of any victim mentality where you're blaming someone else for your reality. But that doesn't mean that it lets them off the hook for any things that they've done in the past. It just means that, it's a challenge. It's a real challenge to forgive. I know how hard it is to forgive. But over time, if you keep making that intention to forgive, it will free you. It will actually free your soul. But if we want to stay stuck in the past where we want to get revenge and we want to blame, well, but then again, they're guilty, right? But if you want to stay in that victim persecutor, vicious circle, it's going to keep you spinning until you decide that you want to forgive. So I don't know if there is anything to forgive. It's up. You guys will have to do your own soul searching to know if that's the case for you. But that would be the emotional adjustment that needs to happen. And when you do, and any time, any of us, every time we forgive, we free up more available life force, because it's not going into the past. It can be available to be free in the future. And that's especially the main thing that's going on here in the North Node. So this whole stellium right here in Taurus, when we have an opposition, because we have 180 degrees here, right? When we have an opposition, we have a confrontation. So imagine like there's a mirror here and there's a mirror here, or there's a person here and a person here. And relationships are about mirrors. But when you've been betrayed, when secrets have been told and they weren't supposed to be, whenever there's crisis or betrayal, it's always an opportunity to look within and see how maybe we betrayed ourselves, But we've got Mercury here saying, oh, hold on, I get the message this time. And Uranus is over here on the other side saying, okay, wake up. Uranus will definitely help us let go. And Uranus is very intuitive. It's also the link to, the collective consciousness. Neptune would be the collective unconscious. Uranus would be the collective conscious. But it helps us wake up, helps us be free. It can sometimes be very disruptive and shocking, especially when it's in conjunction here to the North Node opposing the South Node. This is the soul shocks that we're all receiving every time some children are gunned down, right? So, but we have this trine up here to Pluto. Mercury is trining Pluto, giving us the opportunity to, like I said before, use our voices, speak up, and put our power in the right direction, right? Because we've got this double trine up here. Remember, Pluto is power. And there are some politicians that do not deserve power any longer, and they need to be removed. And that's what can be very shocking to see. Like, I don't know if I was totally shocked, but I was surprised that Mitt Romney took $13 million from the NRA. He's the one that took the most. It's like, okay, good to know. That won't bode well if you want to try to run for president again. It's going to be nope again. You remember the Obama's posters were hope, and Mitt Romney's were nope. So, what else? I think that's it for today for that. Okay, let's look at Wednesday. So, what's different with Wednesday? Ooh, the moon's in Cancer. Okay. So, Cancer's into self-care. Let's see. Yeah, everything else I've spoken to. We have, so I won't reiterate that, but we have the moon here, 2 degrees Cancer, squaring Jupiter and Mars in Aries. And that's a tight orb right there. And Chiron's nothing to sneeze at either, so there's that. But anyway, let's talk about Jupiter and Mars in Aries. I spoke about that before, about moving forward in a big way, having the energy to do it. And there's a challenge to you're feeling insecure. There's a challenge to, I got to clean all the house, do all the laundry, I have to do all this stuff, I have to be really secure and safe first. Maybe not. Because it's also in semi-square here to Uranus, and there will need to be some action taken in order to release this friction here. Uranus is going to keep bugging you. Maybe this is a day to take care of the house that you've been, housework and chores and things like that, you've been putting off because there was so much energy earlier in the week that you used elsewhere. That's possible. And then there's this nice little sextile here to Venus in Taurus over here. Venus and Cancer usually get along pretty well because they both love pleasure in the home and food. It might be a good day to cook, right? So let's see. There was something else I wanted to say, though. Oh, yeah. So Cancer and Aries are both cardinal energy. So there's movement. So movement's going to be happening. Will not be a lazy day at all. And that's especially true with this sesquisquare here up to Pluto. There's some energy up here from Pluto to the Sun. So the Sun is good for personal development and self-expression. It's excellent for shining your light. It's usually really good for physical energy. But creativity most of all. And just remember, the Sun is always like core energy that links to your like the life stream, the flow of life stream, the life stream in the universe. So with with Gemini, Mercury rules Gemini. In this little bit of with the semi-square or sesquisquare, isn't as intense. At least I don't think to the energy. I think this one's a little more intense because this one involves action, but this one up here, the sesquisquare, it's a lot less intense. I think it's definitely less intense than the square. So you don't want to ignore it though, because you have to be careful about something stubborn coming through. So, but it could be information that comes out because the Sun reveals. And Mercury is the messenger that rules Gemini, so it could be something comes out on the news about somebody who's abused their power. Because that's what this Pluto and Capricorn's all about. It's helping us find out all the players. So, yeah. So maybe we'll find out when the hearings start. They're supposed to start on the 9th, and thank you to whoever sent me that information. I so appreciate you for that. But yeah, it's supposed to start on the 9th. So maybe we'll hear about that or get confirmation about when it's actually going to start. The January 6th hearings, I meant to say. Let's see, anything else? We have a sesquisquare here, or not sesquisquare, semi-square here. That's a tight orb, so where's it coming from? Mercury. Oh, I think it's to Chiron here. I think it's to Chiron, Mercury to Chiron. No, it's not. What am I thinking? It's to Uranus. Right here. So see that 16 and 15? Because it has to be a 0 to 3 degree orb. Yeah, no. It's, okay, so Chiron to Uranus. Whoa, that's nice, actually. Something's going to come up that has to do with the need to heal. Something that has deeply to do with our self-esteem and knowing that you matter and belonging to yourself, right? If you belong to yourself, then the world should mirror that at least 50% of the time, that you also belong to them and that you do matter to them, right? And the other 50% of the time, if it doesn't, it's like, well, you just, you go back inside yourself and go, hey, I belong to me. I matter to me. So that's all that's all you can do. That's all we can ever do. But Uranus and Taurus has that, again, that waking up, that liberation, that freeing ourselves. But there's some action that needs to be taken. So maybe it's a simple writing out an affirmative, an affirmation. Like for me, when I learned that my deepest wounding was, and I don't have Chiron in Aries, I have it in Capricorn, but my deepest wounding had to do with the feeling that I didn't matter. So I would always turn it around and write out, I do matter. I matter to myself. I'm here in physical matter, so I must matter, like that. Play around with it, do some word play or whatever, and really put that into your psyche. So, okay, so that's good for Wednesday. So Thursday, the moon's still in Cancer. We still have that, let's see, hold on, 15, 16, yeah, so we still have that sesquisquare that I was speaking to before. That's still an orb, so, this is something, I'm guessing it's going to be all week long, if not more, right here, from Chiron and Uranus. That's great for doing some deeper healing work. It's also good for people who are willing to, and because it goes back to the south node here, remember, because Uranus and the north node, all of this involved, and Mercury, all of this is really important for, looks like my pen's finally running out, for trying to heal, these mass shootings, to make them stop happening. That's part of that there. And yeah, so I'm thinking people, especially because we have to notice how with, let's just use a yellow pen, with Jupiter and Mars here, Mars is moving closer and closer to Chiron. So, this is Mars's action, like I was saying before, motivation, action, and Chiron is, it's the wounded healer. It's our deepest wounding, but also our greatest gifts when we get through the wounding. They're one and the same, flip side of the coin, right? So as these two, especially with the power of Jupiter moving together, at some point things are going to get even, bigger and bigger as far as healing, because Jupiter is all about healing. Mars is moving the energy to clear out the way ahead of time for Jupiter to come in and do the healing. And then, of course, Saturn is sitting up here sitting up here saying, do you want some new laws? We need new laws. Are you going to fight for those new laws? Are you going to make it happen? Who are you going to vote for? Basically, right? And then the moon in Cancer right here is squaring Chiron today. Look at that. Cancer is all about protection and children. It's about honoring. It's like the Queen of Cups. It's honoring all that is sacred. And Cancer also rules the Chariot. Like, are we moving in the right direction? Are we moving in the right direction? So it's all about motherhood, family, our emotional security, what we want to work with and try and protect, do our best to protect. You know, it's like the Girl Scout and Boy Scouts. It's like, you know, they don't go out into the forest without having things to survive, right? It's that kind of energy. And then it's also the past, and it's also our roots. So we're not going to let go of that. And it's also good for, now the squares are challenging, but when they're worked through, they turn into strengths. And oppositions are challenging, but when they're worked through, when you look into the mirror and you're confronting yourself, it turns into a breakthrough. So we have so much here on Thursday. If there's a day of the week that you can take off and work on yourself most of the day, this would be one of the best days. Besides, Tuesday with the new moon. But then again, it doesn't take too long to figure out your intentions, but maybe there's an adjustment to your intentions by Thursday. So strength here, and there's this sextile here notice the 16 degrees here. We've got a sextile to the moon. So Uranus is helping us wake up. And as the moon moves further, it's going to also sextile the north node. So, even later on into the day. So getting guidance about your path, which way, your path in life. There could be some opportunity that happens later on in the day as the moon moves into that sextile to the north node. But then at some point it'll also square Uranus. So it's, it's like go within and figure out what you really want and make those lists and, get going in that direction. Wait a minute. What about that? Oh, that's the same. That was there the day before. We talked about that. Okay. So Friday, the moon's got a lot of action on Friday. That's actually good. So, wow. We have the aspect of the architect with the moon as the apex point, or one of the major levers that connects to the past. The moon in Cancer is about the past. The south node's all about the past, and there's this trine. Look at that, it's beautiful. And that started happening actually during the night, because you can see we've got 26 to 22 degrees. So once it hit 22 degrees, it was exact, and this would be a waxing, trine, like a separating trine. So in between, what I would say is in between, like I said before, Thursday and Friday is a really good time to work on ourselves, and then notice how we're no longer in Mercury retrograde here, but it's still in the shadow. But the messages are coming in, because Mercury retrograde is really not that bad. I mean, yeah, little glitches can happen with all communication devices, but I don't know. That seems to be a thing always for me. I don't know. How about you guys? It's like there's always updates. There are always problems. There's always little things here and there, glitches that don't work. Updates constantly. And then we have, hold on. From Mercury thinking about our safety and what matters to us, sextiling the moon, by this time we know what it is, and we don't want those experiences of the past anymore. And the moon can turn into this door that opens, into what you really want to focus on for growth. Like, what do you want to grow in your life? What do you want to get bigger in your life? How can you be more secure in your life? How can you be more confident in your life? Because sometimes Cancer is all about insecurity and healing your insecurities. But most of all, what do you want to nurture? You have opportunities and messages for nurturing something, and maybe it's something you've been working on for a long time in the past, and maybe it's even your past life gifts coming through, because this is a really nice connection here. So pay attention to whatever came through in dream time, and that's especially true because, here we have Neptune trining the moon. And this is waking up, but what happened in the middle of the night, right? And Jupiter is in this trine as well. So there's healing, and dreamtime healing is a better way to put that. Dreamtime healing. Cool. Okay, so, and notice how Mars is just inching closer and closer to Chiron. So getting that guidance as well, too, or that action to heal whatever deeper wounding there is. And bringing through the gifts, because the gifts will be your unique, daring new self, your unique, brave new self. Aries and Leo can be very brave and courageous, and they're ruled by Aries is ruled by Mars. Leo's ruled by the Sun, but Aries is ruled by Mars. So it's kind of like putting the sunshine in there too. Let's see. Or not put, I'm sorry, with Mars, it's, yeah. Oh, it's this inconjunct here. So Saturn in conjunct the moon means there's an adjustment to something to try and master your freedom. It could be there's an emotional adjustment to make because we don't see the action coming through like we want from our government and from people who seem to have power over us. Cancer and Scorpio, we can get pretty feisty if we don't feel safe and if we're tired of not feeling safe. So that's very, very possible. And then this opposition here to Pluto, well, again, it's, this Saturn rules Capricorn. Pluto's in Capricorn. This is, so here it's like humanity and people having power over humanity. I'm thinking by Friday, something is coming through. And then especially because we have this semi-square here to the Sun, information coming out. Wow. And the sesquisquare to Pluto and the Sun is still there. So this is like for days for the week, during this week. And of course all of that, the oppositions, those are the same. Let's see, 7 to... Oh, so hold on, look at this. Wait, 7... So we still have the sesquisquare between, I don't know why only one's showing, but so the Chiron, semi-square, Uranus, that's all week, and I've already spoken to that, but I can see one forming here between Mars and Venus. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah. Okay, so for Saturday, the moon's in Leo, of course. Lovely Leo. So now we've got some major courage happening, and it's squaring Venus. Wow. Everything's the same there. Mars, we've got 2 semi-squares here, though. So, okay, so hold on. So 25 to 7. Oh, yeah, because it's coming off the other end. That's right. This is where I suck at math, you guys. Saturn. Saturn is there squaring Mars. Okay. And then it's also, where is this other sesquisquare is coming from, or semi-square, I'm sorry, is coming from Venus to Neptune. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay. For artists, this transit will actually be nice. It'll get you going because Venus and Neptune rule art. Venus rules relationships, like your, human relationships. Neptune is your relationship with source energy. So this could be a really nice, as long as there's some initiation taken to come together with someone, this could be a really nice first date or outing or connection, any type of a connection. And it could be quite sensual, or it could be, food, out to dinner and whatever. So the plans could be being made in the morning for that, for the evening. And then Saturn, so the action needed here is to just be very independent. With Mars and Aries, it's about independence, being independent from other people and, that want to just have control all the time. And we're talking government and, yeah. On another level, it could be that you're testing something out and you're going to have to take the action to see if it actually works. There's that possibility for Saturday. Let's see, what else? Neptune, sextile Mercury. We've already talked about that, and that's, you can see that so lasting all week. So that connection between thinking and communication and thinking about safety, and then now there's opportunity that's all week. I'm feeling like this has to do, well, it could again be art, but it's also in any type of art, but it's also the opportunity to protect the vulnerable, because Neptune in Pisces, of course, is very vulnerable. And, the moon traveling through Cancer for those days, Cancer is very vulnerable too. And Scorpio is all about protecting the vulnerable, and so is Leo. And I love this trine. So we have a triple trine. All of these planets here, or two planets in Chiron. Chiron's a centaur. Trining the moon. The moon in Leo. So again, the mood's how we feel, what we want to protect, and what we want to nurture. We're going to want to nurture our creative self-expression, and we're going to want to protect the young and anybody that needs to survive, because of course, Aries is that energy of I'm here, and then the moon in Leo should want to protect that, especially with a trine. It's a graceful, ease there. But we do have the square to Venus, so moms are, I think, probably more overprotective this week than they should be because of what happened last week. And oh my goodness. Seriously, nowadays, if I had a kid, I don't know if I'd have them in public school. I honestly don't know that I would, if I did, unless I just had to. And I would probably be using my intuition every day, like, should I not send them today? Like, if you're worried and something doesn't feel right, if you're worried for some reason, maybe it's a good reason. So all the other aspects are the same. Saturn, the nodes, opposition here. Yeah, the only aspect for the early morning anyway is that square to Venus, and that to me feels like that very, mama bear, protective energy, and the courage to see it through. maybe there's, I'm hoping that there would be some protests, some marches against the NRA or against gun control, against Abbott. How about a protest against Abbott, Governor Abbott of Texas? I bet you a lot of people could get behind that. Sorry, I missed this. Sesquisquare here to Neptune. Sesquisquares are about stubborn energy, and I like it when it comes to protecting. Like, we're not going to back down. And that's what the South Node in Scorpio is about, too. It's like we're not backing down. We've had it. We have had it. So I think that's it. I'm going to close this up and get it uploaded for you, and wish you all well. Big hugs. Take good care. Bye.